we're on really day 3 of this week. Wednesday, we were up 2:30 one night doing mud work and things, trying to get the house up. A lot of things to order to do a kitchen. We got our plumbing done, had the electricians in. They've itemized the house. We had a lot of repairs or finishes in the house that we wanted to do, even though we had a CO, checking fire alarms, things like that. A few were missing, shouldn't have been. Plates after the painters. A lot of times plates and screws on electrical covers are not in. The painters are back. They had some touch-up work that I found while I had lights on last night. We were out till midnight last night. We sent the HVAC guy to Cincinnati yesterday to get more cabinets. Made some adjustments in the cabinets, did some FaceTime with the customers. Dicey plans on the cabinets. Weren't able to get the, because it's pandemic construction, weren't able to finish the plans. So we had to go on the original plans with the changes. Carpenter missed that yesterday while I was running around doing these other things. Jim's great. FaceTime him this morning, walked through, added a couple things like a second trash can drawer cabinet, which means another trip to Cincinnati today if they have it in stock. Hopefully no North Carolina. No time for that. It's a long journey. I've got Jamie Barr with me, one of our sales staff and management staff. Jamie built a lot of Kroger's back in the years in restaurants, was in the fish business, tremendous guy. And he's over here trying to run business for us other places while we're trying to do this one particular remodel. I'm a little bit wore down. You can see my eyes are drooping already. We're trying to focus. We've got the granite guys are coming, or the quartz guys today. They're going to do a template on the cabinets that Jim's putting in. I'd spent 2 or 3 hours this morning with Jim laying out, our carpenter, the cabinet layout so they could be ready. He's putting them together, so we'll have all the lowers, which is backward in the process. We like to put the uppers up first, but we're putting the lower cabinets in first to expedite the quartz and the granite. So pandemic, we had a little family issue last night. Was difficult. It's a pandemic issue that we have to mention because that's what this channel is about. It's humanitarian stories. So we've got a person that's older that's passing away, hasn't had medical care in 2 or 3 months, and maybe something that could have been avoided, but we don't know. And it's a really sad event because their hospice was called in, and you got the COVID issues, and how do you see someone that you know is not well, that in all probability won't do well. So been a lot of tears over that, and there's going to be some more there, and how we function through that while this is going on is just really, really tough. Some of the older people at church have been calling, telling me that they're lonely, and they're not needy people, just no one is seeing them or touching them. People are bringing them food and checking on them, but they're just not getting the compassion that they need. So the human element to what's going on with this, maybe we're a little bit too worried about the greater good, and we're going to lose a generation of people that we need, that are stable for us in older age. Luckily, I'm going to share a story. We'll see if I put it on. It'll be because Jamie says okay. But Jamie was the last surgery in Nashville on some certain things before COVID-19. They called him in and said, you got to get in here. Luckily, he was sitting there right before they shut it down, and it was literally one of the last surgeries, or he would be having issues too. And so it's pretty tough stuff going on. But on the remodel, we got the mud work up, the painters are in, we're sanding down, they're cleaning up, they're working really hard. This is just the cell phone instead of GoPro. John's engaged with this other situation I just mentioned, so we're going to be a little low on videos for a couple days until we see how this situation goes with our good friend. And so unfortunately we may lose her, and it'll be a great loss to the world, because I highly value our 70 to 90 crowd, their experience and their gentleness and their patience through this. One more story quickly. I've got a gentleman that we work for that's in Bermuda at this time, and he's in his 90s, and he's been in the same circumstance. He's very healthy and strong, but his encouragement, he sent us an email when all this first started, and he said, This is a really hard time in my 91 years, he said, and I'm quoting, he said, I've never seen anything like this. He said, I've seen war and the pestilence that comes after it. He said, but one thing he knew is that when it's over, America will rise and come and help everybody else. And that's really what we want to express, but that's actually the stability I needed to go through this difficult time, and maybe it's stability a lot of people need. See, pandemic number 2, we've got this awesome granite guy, Victor, and Victor's decided this can be done because he's a king of the industry, works with us, does very fine work, awesome. Victor is trying to imagine and cut the quartz for this job, and obviously we're a little bit below the grade what we normally do for him, but he thinks he can do it. He's itemized this island that's coming out, and imagine the cabinet's that's not there. You're going to see the finished product, but Victor is all over it. He's all over Jim. That's Jim the carpenter. Jim puts the kitchens in, built about 90 houses in Heartland and Lexington, Kentucky. Retired, but likes to work for me. And he's a perfect installer, fine carpenter. We've made some changes this morning in the cabinet, so we had to take them back out. So now Victor is trying to understand where he's going to put a farmhouse sink, which is an extremely careful cut. Normally you want the sink there, but he's a king. He said, you're going to make me work. And I'm like, oh yeah. So we just want to do a little blurb, give Victor some praise. I'm going to get a picture of his van real quick. Anybody, if you need granite work, this guy is the guy. They remove, they install, they do everything they can to help people. And they're actually called Quality Stone. And if you can focus in on that, Quality Stone, locally we found he's the highest service and the best milling, and the price is right, you know.
Hello folks, if y'all don't remember me, my name is Brian, and I'm basically in this crew tool man. I get the tools. You know, I don't know everything yet, but I know some of the tools. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I gotta ask for questions. But we're here to find the hole saw screws or bits, whatever they're called. But we gotta find them first. Dun, dun. Spy music cued. I think it's in this plumbing box. You see this? Everybody look at this. It's beautiful, ain't it? It's my trailer. Yep, there it is. Look at that. Look at it. That's a beaut right there. Alright, yeah. Alright, there's a saw. Yeah, that's how you break handcuffs. You know, let me see, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Have we found the treasure? I think we found it. To be sure, let's check the other one. Yeah. Boom. We're gonna set that right there. Oh yeah, priceless. And right there sits a nice set of bits. But do you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna bring both of them, because you never know, he might need both. And it's always safer to bring both of them, because he might always say, hey, I need the other ones, and you're like, oh, I just went to the trailer, now I gotta go back to the trailer and get some more from the tool guy, so it's okay sometimes. But other times it's best to just get all the tools so he can have them ready. You know what I mean, Vern? Look at that. That's a beautiful sky right there. Look at that tree, this trailer. Summer's coming, guys. It's a good 65 degrees out here right now. That basketball goal. Yeah, it's good.
So I'm on my own cell phone, little shaky photos. I'm driving, so I have to be careful. You're not supposed to text and drive, but I'm not technically texting. either way, we'll go on with that. Pandemic construction. Our sink was 36 inches. The sink base was 36 inches total. And so it's not going to work sitting beside a dishwasher. The challenge of that is there's nothing to support it properly. It's going to look really stupid when you close the door on your dishwasher. Customer had ordered it. She was right. But there's just not enough room to stretch out and get fillers in to make a place for the dishwasher panel to close into it. And so it'd be closing into her sink. So we're going to have to move down from a 36-inch farmhouse sink to a 33. But this is a pandemic. So I'm going to Lexington, checking all my old resources, see what I can dig up, see if I can find the sink that she wants, because we don't have time for 3 to 5 days shipping. And that you're lucky to get them in 7 to 10 is what I've found in the last 2 months. Really, the last 2 months, we've spent all our time resourcing materials, because you can order it and everything looks like it used to be. It's kind of like the buildings are there, but things don't work like they used to. And so it's harder to resource and find. But I'm going to find a sink. Who knows how far we'll go to do it. I've got guys driving back to Cincinnati again today, get some more cabinet parts, got that in the works. Just a little challenge. It's a challenge when you're trying to slam it, don't have time to adjust, and the resources just aren't there. We had 7 large jobs for the general contracting when this started, and I was 3 subcontractors deep on every trade. $80,000 operating capital, no problem. I could carry, I could wait for money. I didn't need to ask the customers for money very often, but money's been tight since I paid everybody in-house and all my subcontractors through this, whether we were fast or slow. When everybody went home and many washed out, are out of business already. The last 2 months, they just died. They won't be back in business. So we're really working at finishing these jobs. A lot of customers don't understand because they're stationed home, and we've gone to 12, 14, 16-hour days to finish them, but they don't understand, even though I tell them I don't have the capacity I had. When the government loans came through, that meant that they shut down my operating capital, because the government loans were better for the banks than the operating capital loans that a lot of us construction guys had. So not only did we lose the capacity that we had, we also lost our operating capital. And so that's when we went and loaded the trailer with every tool for every trade. And I've taken the crew and covered where people are failing constantly. Our drywall company went from 79 guys to 29. And so they obviously have capacity issues and quality issues. Management's not been on site because of the distancing things. And so you can't manage the crews as well. So I've had to manage the crews better, which really means that we have to turn back and repair things that could have been done a little bit better. The quality of the work goes down, so we have to try to get it back up. So all this is like walking through a swamp to us, and then to take away the operating capital, and then to have trouble finding materials and resources. There was a time where I was spending 5 hours a day just picking up materials for a job, and that was about a 2-week span with all the social distancing and the changes. Call and make your order. You got to wait in line with all the trucks in the morning for the HVAC and all the other materials. They drop it in the truck. Then you go to Home Depot and Lowe's, and the whole time they've been wide open, but you can't get through the line because of the issues with the coronavirus and things like that. It's been a surreal event. But the point of the message today is, don't think things can happen like they once did. People who had great capacity, and I have great resources working here for 20 years. I know where things are, but homeowners are remodeling, pulling stuff out of Home Depot and Lowe's, which is great because they're at home.
Text message from Tara Cabrera.
There's just a lot going on that makes it much more difficult for us to move quickly. And once again, I used to build mall stores in 17 days. I get it. But that was super planning, materials all there, super ordered, and nothing in our way. And now we have everything in the way, except for the price of gas. But I have a diesel truck, and I've noticed it hasn't dropped. And so I would like to understand more about that. Don't have time to study about it. Appreciate you paying attention. See you.